This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Goddard and welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And this will be a little controversial because I could have done Jaromir Jagr. But I decided to go with national pride in the fact that I haven't done a baseball player in a while. And that's Vladdy Guerrero, the last baseball player. I went with national pride and I'm going with my boy, Russell Martin, who's 38 years old today. He used to play in the major leagues, a Canadian-born catcher, which is a rarity. He played in baseball for the Dodgers, Yankees, Pirates, and Jays. A four-time All-Star and a Gold Glove Silver Slugger winner at catcher in 2007. Martin became the everyday catcher for the LA Dodgers when he made his debut in 2006 and continued in that role for 5 years. His offense and defense was big for the first 3 years, but then they diminished significantly. The Dodgers declined to give him arbitration, so the Yankees signed him basically to succeed Jorge Posada as the Yankees' everyday catcher. After a few seasons, he signed a 2-year deal with the Pirates and was the Pirates' catcher. And then he signed a 5-year, $82 million contract with the Blue Jays following the 2014 season. But he was traded back to the Dodgers in 2019. So, yeah. So he was selected in the 35th round by the Expos in the 2000 draft, but he didn't sign. Well, he was drafted out of high school. And then he attended college, Triple College. And then the Dodgers took him in the 17th round. He was drafted as a third baseman and played 1 year as a third baseman in rookie ball. And then he moved to catcher. He was a fantastic catcher and all of that. He was one of the best AA catchers. And then all of a sudden, the Dodgers needed him to catapult their team. He was promoted to the Dodgers in May 2006 after Diego Navarro went down with a wrist injury. He got 2 hits in his game. The first hit was against Chris Capuano of the Brewers. And then a couple days later, he got his first major league home run off another Brewers pitcher, Dave Bush. On June 6, 2006, Martin and Gagne made baseball history as becoming the first French-Canadian battery in the majors, like pitcher-catcher. Navarro would end up being traded June of 2006 to Tampa. Martin actually got a walk-off against the San Francisco Giants. And he was famous for being part of the weirdest finish to a baseball game ever. In September 2006, the Dodgers were trailing the Padres by 4 runs when all of a sudden they hit not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 home runs in a row. That was the first time since the 64 Twins that had happened, so more than 4 decades. And that was off Trevor Hoffman, of all people. He was the guy who hit the third of those 4 consecutive home runs. And the Dodgers won in extra innings. Russell Martin hit a walk-off grand slam against Sean Chacon in 2007. He ended up being first place in All-Star game voting for 2007 for catcher, and the first ever Canadian-born catcher to start the All-Star game. Now, Canadian catchers are a rarity, but there was one Canadian catcher that was a legend way back in the day, and that was George Gibson of the Pittsburgh Pirates back in the 1900s. Because George Gibson was basically a hitting star, and started with Pittsburgh because, they were a decent team and all that. He even got to endorse Coca-Cola for a while. But yeah, so Russell Martin basically was given the Gold Glove and Silver Slugger award after the season. In 2008, he decided to play third base, allowing Gary Bennett to be on the plate. Martin actually caught 10 of the 15-inning game, All-Star game, all that. Martin signed a contract to avoid salary arbitration. He played for Canada in the 2009 World Baseball Classic, which was disastrous after Canada lost to both the U.S. and Italy and were eliminated. He really slumped. 250 with 7 home runs, batting 250 in 143 games. And then he really regressed. But then he tore a labrum in his right hip, and basically that was it. The Dodgers were not really too sure about it. they thought that Martin wouldn't recover from his injury. So they allowed him to be a free agent. The Dodgers did give Martin a 1-year, $4.2 million offer, but he thought he could make $5 million. But then he decided to take a 1-year guaranteed $6 million contract with the Yankees. It would rise to $9 million if he caught 110 games. He was elected to the American League All-Star game team in 2011. He actually hit a grand slam against the A's August 2011, which was famous because alongside Robbie Cano and Curtis Granderson, those three guys hit a grand slam, which is a record in Major League Baseball. He signed a $7.5 million 1-year contract for the 2012 season. And in 133 games, his batting average sucked, but he got 20-plus home runs, which is not bad. But Pittsburgh signed him at the end of the 2012 season for 2 years, $17 million. So basically, Russell Martin played for them. In the NL Wildcard game in 2013, the Reds were playing the Pirates in Pittsburgh. Reds pitcher Gianni Cueto was so rattled by his name being chanted, he dropped the ball on the mound while being on the mound. And then the next pitch was a fastball that Martin crushed to left field. Pirates won the game and their first postseason victory in 21 years, which was huge. All that. After the 2014 season, the Blue Jays managed to sign him to a 5-year contract. Basically, they wanted Martin to actually be R.A. Dickey's catcher and all that. When the Blue Jays played their two exhibition games at Stade Olympique, he got a rousing ovation. On April 19th, he actually was the catcher when Jeff Francis pitched for the Blue Jays, which was the first all-Canadian battery in the franchise history. And then Russell Martin stole home off of a double steal, becoming the first Blue Jays to steal home since Brett Lawrie in 2012. His 2015 season was big. 240 batting average, 23 home runs, 77 RBIs, and 129 games to help the Blue Jays get to the playoffs. Unfortunately, he led the major leagues in passed balls. Despite that, he was a finalist for the Catcher Gold Glove Award. Martin would have 137 games in 2016 for the Blue Jays and would also hit another 20 home runs. But the postseason, he was 3 for 33. The Blue Jays traded Martin back to the Dodgers 2019 for a pair of prospects. They also sent $16 million to offset most of the salary. Martin was basically the backup catcher for the team. He actually pitched the top of the ninth against the Diamondbacks in March of 2019. And was the first primary position player to strike out 3 straight batters since Willie Smith in 1963. And Martin was the first full-time position player to work a 1-2-3 ninth in a team win since 1925, which is amazing. Martin would only play 83 games for the Dodgers and all that. Martin, for Canada, he played for them in the 2009 World Baseball Classic. And Martin actually wanted to play shortstop for the Canadians in the 2013 World Baseball Classic. So he did not want to learn another pitching staff during the tournament because he was already learning a new staff in Pittsburgh. Unfortunately, Canada didn't budge on that. And Martin withdrew. He wanted to play shortstop for Team Canada at the 2017 World Baseball Classic, but he was left off the roster because of insurance complications due to his knee injury. So yeah, he only played one World Baseball Classic for Canada. Martin was born in Toronto, but he spent his childhood in Montreal. All that. Martin is biracial. His father is Black Canadian and his mother is Franco-Manitoban. So his full name is Russell Nathan Coltrane Jensen Martin Jr. Named Russell for his father, Nathan for a great-grandfather, Jensen for his mother's family, and Coltrane because of John Coltrane. Martin's parents separated when Martin was 2, when Russell was 2, and his father would play saxophone in Montreal metro stations to pay for his son's baseball training. When Russell was 9, his mother remarried. She moved to Paris with her new husband and daughter. Russell would have to split time between Paris and Montreal for a while. Martin actually changed the name on his jersey to J. Martin, not because it was Jacques Martin, but for Jansen, his mother's surname, which was kind of weird because usually that rarely happens. So yeah, Russell Martin basically was the best Canadian catcher in a long, long, long time. And he was a Blue Jay. I wish he was an Expo, but he was a Blue Jay. Can't go wrong with that. I feel bad for Jaromir Jagr because the guy had such a journeyman career and made everyone laugh. But I gotta go with my Canadian baseball roots. What can you do? I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.